A millionaire CEO asked his son to choose a mother from among high society women, but the boy surprised him by choosing the housekeeper. For years, William Whitmore had heard the same phrase from his father. A CEO needs stability, a prestigious wife, a family image. But William always resisted. He knew Jorge wasn't talking about love. He was talking about appearances, reputation, and headlines. The Whitmore empire demanded a perfect front. But William wasn't willing to put his own son's happiness on display for the press. Then one day, William had an idea. He would invite beautiful, sophisticated single women to a party. All of them had flirted with him at some point, and Jorge would certainly approve of them as ideal wives. As the guests toasted, William watched everything with a sharp eye. He had one thing on his mind: who would genuinely be kind to his son? While William scanned the scene like a casting director, Noah was putting on his own show. He was wearing a superhero cape made from a tablecloth and running through the garden, yelling, "Emergency! A melting ice cream needs rescuing." The socialites tried to connect with Noah, but he had no interest. One asked if he'd like an elegant mother. He replied he'd rather have a rocket that shoots marshmallows. Another brought him a vegan cooking kit. He asked if it tasted like broccoli mixed with punishment. William watched as none of the women showed any genuine empathy. There were only faces of shock, disgust, or judgment. No one seemed to understand that Noah was just Noah, a whirlwind of creativity and chaos. At the back of the house, near the outdoor buffet kitchen, Eliza was trying to save a rebellious pot. She was exhausted. As a contract worker, she did everything. And the rent was due in 2 days. When she heard a noise behind her, she turned to find a blond boy with bright eyes and 2 plastic spoons hanging from his ears. "Hi, are you a lost little guest? I'm Noah. Do you have pancakes?" She raised an eyebrow. "Not on the party menu, but I can make some. Pancakes are my secret specialty." 10 minutes later, Noah was eating pancakes while sitting on a fruit crate. "These are officially the best pancakes in the universe," he declared. Eliza laughed. "Well, I know how to cook, and I only yell when the rent is due. You're different from the other ladies at the party. You don't smell like a perfume store. You listened to me and gave me a napkin and a pancake." Later, as the sun started to set, William pulled Noah aside. "So, champ, did you like the party? There was magic. There was chocolate. One lady called me the CEO's sweetie and tried to bite me. I ran." William held back a laugh. "Can I ask you an important question? Of all the women who came today, which one would you like to be your future mom?" Noah opened his mouth, closed it, thought for a moment, and then he shouted, pointing toward the kitchen tent. "Her. She'll be my new mom." Silence fell over the place. "She smells nice, makes pancakes with whipped cream and strawberries, and gave me the title of general." Every head turned. Eliza stood there frozen, holding a spatula in one hand and with whipped cream in her hair. I'm just the cook. I want her as my mom, Dad," Noah insisted. "The pancake lady." William froze. Eliza blinked. A socialite dropped her glass. Another choked on a mini spinach quiche. The silence lasted exactly 3 seconds. Then, chaos erupted. "No, no, no." Eliza waved her hands frantically. "People, there's been a misunderstanding. I work for the catering company. I barely even know you." But Noah kept pointing at her with determination. "Dad, she's perfect." The socialites exchanged horrified glances. Then a deep, authoritative voice cut through the air. "What is going on here?" Jorge Whitmore appeared like a stern judge, wearing an immaculate suit. His eyes scanned the scene. "Grandpa Jorge." Noah ran to him. "I picked my new mom. It's her, the pancake queen." Jorge followed his grandson's gaze and found Eliza. "An employee? My grandson chose a maid." "Sir, I can explain," Eliza began. But Jorge silenced her with an imperious gesture. "There's nothing to explain, young lady. It's clear what happened here." He turned to William. "You let one of the staff manipulate my grandson?" "Dad, please calm down," William tried to intervene. "Calm down? This is the future heir of the Whitmore family. He can't be influenced by just anyone who shows up with sweets." Eliza felt her blood boil. She dropped the spatula onto the table with a sharp thud. "Listen here, Mr. Fancy Suit." She planted her hands on her hips. "I didn't manipulate anyone. I just did my job and was kind to a child. Something that apparently is rare around here." Jorge's face turned red. "How dare you speak to me like that? To a rude man who judges people by their job. I work honestly. I pay my bills and I don't need anyone's approval." Noah began to sob. The raised voices, the tension, it was scaring him. "You're fighting. I don't want you to fight." William saw his son's tears, and something inside him broke. He stepped forward. "Enough. All of you. Enough." The silence returned instantly. "Noah is crying. The guests are embarrassed. And you two are acting like children." William took a deep breath. "Miss Eliza, may I speak with you in private?" When they reached a spot near an ornamental fountain, William set Noah down and sent him to play in the treehouse. William stood up and faced Eliza. "I'm sorry for what happened back there. My father can be intense." "Intense is a polite word for prejudiced." Eliza crossed her arms. "You're right. Look, I know this is going to sound completely crazy, but my son has never reacted to anyone like this. He lost his mother at birth, and ever since, he's never really bonded with any mother figure." Eliza waited quietly. "What I'm about to ask is strange, I know, but would you consider coming to live at our house for 2 weeks? Let me explain. It's not what you're thinking. The idea is for you to gently help Noah understand that you can't be his mom, that you have your own life, your own plans. You want me to break a 6-year-old's heart? I want him to face the truth before he gets even more hurt. Look, I pay well. Very well. 2 weeks, room and board included, and you'd walk away with enough to cover your expenses for several months." Eliza stayed silent. Rent was overdue. The catering job was temporary. She was in desperate need of money. "How much?" William named a figure that made Eliza's eyes go wide. "That's more than I make in 6 months." "I might say yes," she said slowly, "but I have conditions." "What are they?" "First, I sleep in the guest room with the door locked. Second, no romantic confusion. Third, I can leave any time I want. Fourth, if your father disrespects me again, I'll give it right back to him. Fifth, I cook for Noah whenever I feel like it. And sixth, when the 2 weeks are over, you don't try to make me stay. Don't use Noah to change my mind." William extended his hand. "Do we have a deal, Miss Martinez?" Eliza shook his hand. "We have a deal, Mr. Whitmore." Across the garden, Jorge watched the scene disapprovingly. The socialites whispered their theories, and Noah from the treehouse clapped like he had just witnessed the show of a lifetime. The next morning, Eliza stood in front of the Whitmore mansion with a worn backpack on one shoulder and a suitcase that had seen better days. She looked up at the enormous building. "My God, is this a house or a shopping mall?" The mansion looked like something out of a period film. Massive white columns, perfectly trimmed gardens, and a fountain that probably cost more than her entire apartment. A middle-aged man in a spotless suit opened the main door. "You must be Miss Eliza Martinez. I'm Winston, the Whitmore family's butler." "Aye. Wow, you're a real butler." Inside, the mansion took Eliza's breath away. The entry hall had a chandelier that looked like it belonged in a palace and enormous portraits of stern-looking people from the past. "Eliza! Eliza!" Noah came running down the staircase. "You came? You really came?" He jumped into her arms and she spun him around. "Of course I did, General. A promise is a promise." The guest room was bigger than Eliza's entire apartment. It had a king-size bed, a balcony with a view of the garden, and a marble bathroom that sparkled like a jewelry store. "This place is ridiculously huge," Eliza muttered. After settling in, Noah gave her a tour of the mansion. After half an hour, Eliza was completely lost. She tried to find her way back to the kitchen but ended up in the wrong hallway. In the kitchen, she walked up to one of the fridges, looking for the handle. "Where's the... How do I open this?" Suddenly, the fridge spoke. "Access denied. User not recognized." "What do you mean, not recognized?" "I'm a person." She started pressing random buttons. The fridge began flashing red lights and sounding an alarm. Warning, unauthorized access attempt. Winston came running in. Miss Martinez, what are you doing? Trying to get some water. This fridge has trust issues. At that moment, William appeared in the kitchen doorway. Winston, what was that alarm? A minor misunderstanding with the house system, sir. William looked at Eliza, who was clearly embarrassed, then quickly looked away. Miss Martinez, I hope you're settling in. Oh yes. Your house is educational. I've learned that even the fridges here have PhDs in security. Later, after a formal lunch, Eliza decided to take a relaxing bath. She found what she thought was the bathroom to her room, opened the door, and stepped in. But when she looked up, she saw William coming out of the shower, wearing only a towel around his waist. They both froze. Eliza was speechless. She stammered. William began. Wrong door. Eliza shouted, covering her eyes with her hands, but leaving her fingers slightly open. Sorry, I didn't look. Okay, maybe just a little. But you're still looking, William said, trying to stay composed. I'm not, she protested, still peeking through her fingers. Your fingers are apart. Eliza quickly closed her hands completely and bumped against the wall. Where's the door? Why does this house have so many doors? She finally found the doorknob and bolted out. Outside, she leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Oh my God. In the days that followed, Eliza completely changed the Whitmore mansion's routine. She taught Noah how to make pancakes with a special technique, tossing the batter into the air. On the third try, the pancake stuck to the ceiling. Noah laughed so hard he almost fell off his chair. Now we have a pet pancake. Through the glass door, William watched the scene while sipping his coffee. There was something mesmerizing about the way Eliza interacted with Noah. She didn't treat him like a fragile child. She treated him like a small but intelligent human being. That afternoon, Eliza found out Noah had never had a real bubble bath. What do you mean never? The nanny always said bubbles make a mess. That nanny didn't know the joys of life. We're going to make an epic bubble bath. They spent an hour building foam castles and soap boats. William passed by the hallway and heard the laughter. It had been a long time since he'd heard his son laugh like that. Free, spontaneous, genuinely happy. At dinner, Eliza invented the funny voices game. Everyone had to tell how their day went while imitating a different character. William resisted at first, but ended up doing a cowboy impression. Jorge, who arrived in the middle of the game, stood at the dining room door watching a family he barely recognized. He left without saying a word, but with a thoughtful expression. That night, after Noah was asleep, Eliza stood on her balcony. The air was fresh and she felt strangely at peace. Can't sleep? She turned and saw William at the balcony door holding 2 cups of tea. No, I'm still getting used to all this quiet. William walked over and handed her one of the mugs. They stood in silence for a few minutes. Can I ask you something? William said at last. Sure. Why are you so natural with Noah? Most people get intimidated or they try too hard. Eliza thought for a moment. I guess it's because I remember what it felt like to be a kid and not be taken seriously. My parents died when I was little, and I was raised by aunts who always talked about me like I wasn't even in the room. It taught me that kids need to be heard, not just tolerated. I'm sorry. No need. It made me stronger. William watched her. There was something about the way she spoke, an honesty he rarely encountered. What about you? Eliza asked. What's it like being a single father? William let out a sigh. Terrifying. Every day I wonder if I'm doing anything right. He loves you so much. That much is clear. But is that enough? Sometimes I look at him and see the mother he never got to meet. And I feel guilty. Eliza turned to face him. You don't have to be both. You just need to be the best father you can be. And from what I see, you already are. They looked at each other for a moment, and something passed between them. A connection neither of them had expected. William cleared his throat. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about extending our agreement. Instead of 2 weeks, what about 3 months? Eliza looked surprised. 3 months? Noah's never been this happy. And I think you're good for him. Of course, it would be the same arrangement. No romantic involvement, no complications. Eliza hesitated. I don't know, William. 3 months is a long time, and the longer I stay, the harder it'll be on Noah when I leave. What if it didn't have to be temporary? The question slipped out before William could stop himself. They looked at each other, both caught off guard. Sorry, William backed away. I didn't mean. The agreement is clear. No complications. But Eliza had already seen something in his eyes. Something that made her heart beat a little faster. 3 months, she said finally. Same agreement, same rules. Same agreement, William agreed. They shook hands again, but this time the handshake lasted just a little longer than necessary. And when they let go, both of them knew something had changed between them. Over the following weeks, life at the mansion fell into a comfortable rhythm. Eliza became more than just a temporary caregiver. She became part of the family. Every morning started with pancakes and laughter. Noah would help her cook, and William would join them at the breakfast table, trading his formal business breakfasts for chaotic kitchen moments filled with flour fights and burnt edges. One evening, Noah got sick with a fever. Eliza stayed up all night with him, changing cold compresses on his forehead and telling him stories to help him sleep. William found her at 3 a.m., asleep in the chair next to Noah's bed, still holding his little hand. He gently woke her. Eliza, you should get some rest. She blinked awake. No, I need to stay with him. I'm here now. I'll watch him. You've been up all night. But Eliza refused to leave until Noah's fever broke in the morning. William watched her with growing admiration. This wasn't just a job to her anymore. The relationship between Eliza and William grew deeper with each passing day. They found excuses to spend time together. Evening walks in the garden, late-night conversations on the balcony, stolen glances across the dinner table. One rainy afternoon, Noah was at a friend's house for a playdate. Eliza was in the library reading when William walked in. I've been looking for you, he said. Well, you found me. This library is amazing. I could spend days here. William sat down across from her. Eliza, we need to talk. Her heart skipped a beat. That sounds serious. It is. The 3 months are almost up, and I don't want you to leave. Eliza closed her book slowly. William, I know what we agreed. I know the rules. But things have changed. You've changed everything. Noah is happier than I've ever seen him. The house feels like a home now, not just a museum. And He paused, struggling with the words. You what? Eliza whispered. I've fallen in love with you. The confession hung in the air between them. Eliza's eyes filled with tears. William, I can't. This was supposed to be temporary. I was supposed to help Noah understand that I couldn't stay. And now? Now what? Now I don't want to leave either. But I'm terrified. I'm not part of your world. I don't belong here. William stood up and crossed to her, kneeling in front of her chair. You belong here more than anyone I've ever known. You brought life back to this house. You brought joy back to my son. You brought hope back to me. He took her hands in his. Eliza Martinez, I'm not asking you to be Noah's temporary caregiver anymore. I'm asking you to be part of our family. For real. Forever. Eliza's tears spilt over. What about your father? What about society? What about all those people who think I'm just a gold digger? I don't care what they think. I only care about what Noah thinks. And what do you think? And I know Noah loves you. The question is, do you love us? Eliza looked into his eyes. She thought about the past 3 months. The laughter, the tears, the moments of pure joy. She thought about Noah's bright smile every morning. She thought about the way William looked at her when he thought she wasn't watching. Yes, she whispered. I love you. I love both of you. So much it scares me. William smiled, the first genuine smile she'd seen from him in weeks. Then stopped being scared. Say yes. Stay with us. Before she could answer, Noah's voice echoed through the hallway. Dad, Eliza, I'm home. He burst into the library, saw them holding hands and froze. His eyes went wide. Are you going to be my real mom now? Eliza and William looked at each other, then back at Noah. "Would you like that, champ?" William asked. Noah didn't answer with words. He ran straight into Eliza's arms, hugging her so tight she could barely breathe. I prayed for this every single night. Eliza hugged him back, tears streaming down her face. Then yes, General Noah, I'll stay. I'll be your mom. For real. But their happiness was short-lived. That evening, Jorge called an emergency family meeting. He sat at the head of the dining table, his face stern and disapproving. "William, we need to discuss this situation with Miss Martinez. Her name is Eliza, Dad. And there's nothing to discuss. I've asked her to stay, and she's agreed." Jorge's jaw tightened. "You can't be serious. She's a nobody. A temporary worker. The press will have a field day. The board will question your judgment. The Whitmore name will be tarnished." "The Whitmore name," Eliza spoke up, her voice steady, "seems to matter more to you than your grandson's happiness." Jorge turned his cold gaze to her. "Don't presume to lecture me about my grandson, young lady. Then don't presume I'm here for your money or your name. I'm here because I love Noah. And I love William. And if that's not good enough for you, then I feel sorry for you." "How dare you?" "No, how dare you?" Eliza stood up, her voice rising. "I've watched you for 3 months. You barely spend time with Noah. You criticize William for every decision. You care more about headlines and business deals than about the people in this house who actually love you." Jorge stood up as well, his face red with anger. "William, control your woman." "She's not my woman to control," William said calmly, standing beside Eliza. "She's her own person. And she's right. For years, I've let you dictate my life, my choices, my happiness. But not anymore. I love Eliza. Noah loves Eliza. And we're going to be a family with or without your blessing. Then you'll be a family without my support. Without your inheritance. Without the company." The threat hung in the air. William took a deep breath. "If that's what it takes, then so be it. Noah and Eliza are worth more to me than all the money in the world." Jorge stared at his son in shock. For the first time in his life, William had chosen love over legacy. "You're willing to throw everything away? For her?" "I'm not throwing anything away, Dad. I'm finally choosing what matters. And if you can't see that, then maybe you're the one who's lost everything that matters." Jorge stood there, speechless. Then he turned and walked out of the dining room without another word. Noah, who had been watching from the doorway, ran to his father and Eliza. "Did Grandpa leave because of me?" "No, champ." William knelt down. "Grandpa left because he needs time to think. But no matter what happens, we're going to be okay. The 3 of us, together." Eliza knelt down too, taking Noah's hands. "Your dad just did the bravest thing I've ever seen. He chose love. And that's what real families do." Noah hugged them both. "I'm not sad. I have you. I have Dad. That's all I need." That night, as Eliza tucked Noah into bed, he looked up at her with sleepy eyes. "Eliza? Can I call you Mom now?" Her heart swelled. "Only if you want to." "I want to." "Good night, Mom." "Good night, my sweet boy." She kissed his forehead and turned off the light. In the hallway, William was waiting. They walked to the balcony together, looking out at the stars. "Are you sure about this?" Eliza asked. "You're giving up so much." "I'm not giving up anything. I'm gaining everything. A family. A life that actually means something." He turned to face her, taking both her hands in his. "Eliza Martinez, I know we've only known each other for 3 months. I know this is fast and crazy and completely unconventional. But I also know that you're the best thing that's ever happened to us." He got down on one knee, pulling out a small velvet box. "Eliza, will you marry me? Will you officially become Noah's mother and my wife?" Eliza gasped, tears streaming down her face. "Yes. 1,000 times, yes." He slipped the ring on her finger, and they kissed under the starlight, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. 6 months later, the Whitmore mansion was transformed. Not by expensive renovations, but by love. The formal rooms were filled with Noah's artwork. The kitchen always smelled like fresh pancakes. And laughter echoed through the hallways daily. Jorge eventually came around. It took time, but seeing Noah's genuine happiness and witnessing Eliza's unwavering love for his family slowly melted his cold heart. He still had his moments of stubbornness, but he learned to respect Eliza and even grew to care for her. On the wedding day, it was Jorge who walked Eliza down the aisle. As he handed her to William, he whispered, "Take care of my son. And forgive a foolish old man for almost ruining the best thing that ever happened to this family." Eliza squeezed his hand. "You're not foolish. You're just learning. We all are." The ceremony was small and intimate. No press, no socialites, just family and true friends. And when Noah stood up as the ring bearer, proudly declaring, "I now pronounce you my mom and dad," there wasn't a dry eye in the room. As Eliza and William danced at their reception, she looked around at their little family and smiled. "What are you thinking?" William asked. "I'm thinking about how I almost said no. How I almost walked away because I thought I didn't belong. And now I know that home isn't about mansions or money. It's about the people who make you feel like you can be yourself. It's about love that sees past appearances to the heart underneath." William pulled her closer. "You know what the best part is?" "What?" "This is just the beginning." And he was right. It was just the beginning of a beautiful life together. A life built not on wealth or status, but on pancakes, laughter, bubble baths, and unconditional love. Because sometimes, the most unexpected choices lead to the most extraordinary happiness. And sometimes, a 6-year-old boy's wisdom is far greater than any adult's logic. Love isn't about perfection or prestige. It's about finding someone who makes you want to be better, who brings joy to your darkest days, and who loves you not for what you have, but for who you are. And for William, Eliza, and Noah, that love was worth more than all the riches in the world. The end. So, where are you watching from? And what would you rate this story from 0 to 10? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching Unfiltered Love Hub. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more amazing love stories.